Cherry Hills Village costs $800,000 more than Greenwood Village. Does it return on that value? Hey everyone, it's Alyson, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. If you're looking at luxury real estate in South Denver, the odds are strong that you are exploring both Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village. One has a median price point of $3.4 million. The other has a median price point of $2.6 million. Similar locations, similar schools, similar homes. So why the $800,000 price gap? Today we're looking at real numbers and lifestyle differences so you can decide whether the extra cost makes sense. At first glance, Greenwood Village and Cherry Hills Village seem the same. It's the sprawling estates and the tree-lined streets and the unmistakable feeling of exclusivity. Access to top schools is certainly a given. Both are in a prime location I call the perfect pocket of South Denver. And that location is actually a big part of the attraction to this area. For you, that means being 30 minutes to DIA, about 20 minutes to downtown Denver, 5 or so minutes into the tech center, and just 90 minutes down to Vail, well, not down, over to the ski resorts for skiing and activities in the summer. Now, for all of those top-level similarities, if you're not a local, it is a much more refined conversation around Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village, so let's dive in. Cherry Hills Village is completely encapsulated on the west side of I-25 and is all about legacy real estate, privacy, space, large acreage. The median lot size in Cherry Hills Village is 1 acre. Homes can stretch to 5 acres, sometimes more. Yes, there are some smaller lots, but it is common to find at least an acre in Cherry Hills Village. And what you don't find is commercial zoning. There are no distracting big box stores. There are no restaurants right in Cherry Hills Village. No strip shopping centers that can get run down. I mean, there are homes that were built in here in the 60s and 70s. They didn't also have stores in here in the 60s and 70s, so you don't have things that need to be revitalized. It is just homes and the open space and the trails and the trees. The village is really an endearing place, and while a lot of the cherry trees are gone, for which it got its name, living here is really meant to be a retreat from daily pressures. On the trails and bridle paths, there will be cottonwood trees that tower and bring shade. And honestly, the privacy isn't just a feature of the area, it's pretty much a guarantee. Now, before we drill in on Greenwood Village, where it neighbors up against Cherry Hills Village, let's take it on its whole. Greenwood Village on the whole can offer up luxury, and we're going to talk about that, but it doesn't do so consistently from stem to stern. Greenwood Village is large, much larger than Cherry Hills Village, and it straddles I-25. It goes to the east side of 25 to the west of 25 up against Cherry Hills Village. And there is a lot of diversity in what is offered and just the way of life in Greenwood Village. It's possible to have a smaller production style home close to Cherry Creek Reservoir. It's possible to have a luxury style home that's on the east side of 25. You can have a high-end luxury condo that is right in the Denver Tech Center area where things are walkable. You have a very modern lifestyle, sweeping views. And you can be on the west side, right up against Cherry Hills Village, where virtually the only way you know you're in Greenwood Village instead of Cherry Hills Village is the fact that you don't have the iconic Cherry Hills Village red street signs. Home prices across Greenwood Village range from $300,000 for a small condo to around $7 million over on the luxury side neighboring Cherry Hills Village. Greenwood Village parted ways with its neighbor, Cherry Hills Village, and wanted to have retail. So you will find abundant options for office space, restaurants, shops. There are a lot of high-end restaurants in this Denver Tech Center, Greenwood Village area. Some of our favorite are there, best service, best food. So it's a nice area to have a lot of convenience, and it is part of what adds to the perfect pocket location of these two areas. So Cherry Hills Village actually gets a bit of a boost from Greenwood Village being open to bringing in retail and office and commercial and all of that. So it's like, you kind of want to be the one who maybe doesn't have a lot of the commercial nearby, but if you don't have any, it doesn't help your home values. So they make good neighbors. Now on the lead-in, I talked about the $800,000 difference. That is 100% solely focusing on the west side of I-25, the luxury part of Greenwood Village and all of Cherry Hills Village. Because if I'm talking about a $300,000 condo on the east side, we are drastically changing how the numbers median out or average out. So we are dropping all of that. We are focusing just on this segment on the west side. And for those with the means, the finances to live here, it is a lifestyle that is hard to beat. Not only do you have that perfect pocket piece that I talked about with the ultimate convenience, look at all the trails. So here you are closer into the urban corridor. You have loads of mature trees, larger lots, but you have the ultimate and outdoor lifestyle as well, which is not the most common thing to find as you get closer to a city urban corridor like this. Part of it is just the way that Colorado is. It's why people love to be here. But these are beautiful trails. You have mountain views on many parts of it. I actually have clients who are already in Greenwood Village. They're wanting to swap houses, get something a little bit bigger for a season. And they have looked to move to other places. They've said, well, we could go to this community, specifically actually Castle Pines Village would give them a similar feel. And the reason they're considering Castle Pines Village is all because it's another place that could give them similar trails. They don't want to because they lose the convenience, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the trail system and Greenwood Village and Cherry Hills Village connect beautifully is outstanding. And it really, for my folks, has turned into a set of golden handcuffs because there's really no other place that gives them this caliber of home. It's what they've been used to for decades. Gives them the ultimate in walkability. They're incredibly healthy. They love to be outdoors. They do it all seasons. Even the trails, much of this Highline Canal and trail space gets plowed. They bring motorized plows through even after it's snowed, so it's usable all year round. And they are not quite empty nesters. So they have kids in that we are in college, might come back, probably gonna get a job, but maybe we don't wanna have to go pay a lot of rent, especially if we get a job in Denver. It'd be cheaper to live with you, mom and dad. So they're in that kind of what you might call boomerang phase. So it, for them, is like, if we go down to Castle Pines Village, how far would our kids have to drive to go have a job in the tech center or downtown? So it's not only about convenience for them to the airport, for them to the doctors, for them to dinners, friends, golf club, lifestyle, but also as they think about this transition phase, as they're completing the launch of their young adults, this location is prime. Then next, maybe to something a little bit more even quieter, even more reserved, a little more private, possibly. I don't know. They really love the convenience. We'll see. So this location, once you're in, becomes really challenging to give up after you find all the little hidden gems of the joy of living here. So what is home searching like inside Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village? Once you're in the know and you realize how small the area is and you learn the little pockets and realize that there are premium spots, there are lifestyle preferences, there are different heights of trees, different areas of quiet, different lifestyles, you learn there are some strong preferences, some favorites, some areas that are way more expensive than others. And it really comes down to what your list of priorities are. For a lot of my folks, especially a lot of my coming in from out of town folks, it is so much about living the Colorado lifestyle. Views are almost always on everyone's list. In this area, they are available, but they're not the easiest to find. This is generally a fairly flat area. Sometimes the golf courses will offer it because they have the open corridors, a little bit of rolling terrain. For the most part, views are challenging and you'll pay for them just like everywhere else. But some of the other things for this area that come up are, do you want to actually be in a gated community, a gated golf community? Because if you're coming in from the outside, sometimes getting right in to the tight-knit community on that deeper level can add to how quickly you integrate, meet people, get connected. And it's a similar conversation I have at a much different price point in different parts of town about moving into a newer build community or a community that has a pool, a community that has Facebook groups and whiskey groups and cigar groups and moms groups and running groups. It's a lot easier to get integrated in that situation, and the same is true here. When you're getting into the golf club and you aren't having to wait 4 or 5 years on the list, or you can get into on the social membership and start weaving in and build that network. And the other thing is road noise. 60, 70 years ago, these roads were smaller, a lot less traffic, and so it kind of didn't matter where your home was. You weren't nearly as bothered by what was going on around you. As Denver has grown, as cars have gotten louder, as we've had bigger trucks and louder motorcycles, and all of those things, there are certainly spots where you are going to hear road noise all the time. Some people don't mind. I know people who've lived around the world and they kind of like the hum and the noise, they sleep better. I'm not one of those people, so for me, it's kind of a what? But for people who have lived in major cities, Shanghai, Tokyo, New York, they kind of enjoy the din and the sound. So that's amazing. It makes it easier sometimes to find a fantastic house. The lots may be deeper, bigger, giving some extra room, but there are areas where the road noise is always going to be there, that quiet hum, that white noise. And there are spots where you can completely get away from it. So once you're in the know and you realize that even within this small set of square miles for Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village, location is key. It won't surprise you to know that there are areas with higher price points and premiums. So let's talk about those as well. On average, the most desirable place to live in Cherry Hills Village is Old Cherry Hills Village. It is a distinct location on the farther west edge, well established, large trees, narrow roads, a lot of scraped and redone homes in here, a lot of beautiful older architecture. It's a lovely mix, just really stunning area. Easy to find $10 million homes, $8 million homes, redone and gorgeous homes that have never hit the market that will far surpass this price point when they do come to market. There is no gated country club lifestyle in here. Much of it is set off the main road. It is quiet. What you are really getting is that tucked away, dense shaded, large gardens, occasional horse property on the back acreage, feel of just quiet serenity and these estate legacy properties. So while that one area stands out far and away in Cherry Hills Village for being the most expensive, most desirable, there are 2 spots in Greenwood Village that win the day. One is that Greenwood Village has some very large acre properties. Those are horse properties. You're going to get multiple acres of land, wide open, not densely treed. We certainly have different pockets where the tree coverage is different. So Greenwood Village has this opportunity to have your horse properties really get tucked away. You have quite a bit of distance from your neighbors. Those sell at a premium because to have that horse property close into town, these nice bridle trails close in, wonderful opportunity. The other place that sells at a similar premium, totally different lifestyle, is the Preserve, and it backs up to the Marjorie Perry Nature Preserve. And this is just a large area that's protected, brings in birds. The Highline Canal Trail winds around it. It is a stunning area. Again, this is tucked away from main roads, really not much opportunity to hear noise. Just like we saw with Old Cherry Hills Village, this is not an area that is gated, does not have a golf community, not really big in the clubhouse amenities either. But because of its serenity, its peace and quiet, its outdoor trail access, it has some newer homes, a little bit more modern architecture and design, tends to not need as many updates as some of the older Cherry Hills Village homes. It really commands a premium. Even though we're seeing similarities between the lifestyles in these communities as I talk about them and describe them and talk about the peak performers in each neighborhood, the reality is Cherry Hills Village is still coming in with a median value that is more than $750,000 higher than Greenwood Village. On a cost per square foot basis, Cherry Hills Village is 25% higher on average. Cherry Hills Village sells faster in the past year The median days on average was 11 days faster in Cherry Hills Village, and long-term appreciation is better in Cherry Hills Village. Since 2019, price appreciation has been 45% in Greenwood Village and 49% in Cherry Hills Village. I know that difference is small, but again, we are only comparing that west side. I've excluded everything on that east side where we've mixed in condos, townhomes, production homes, anything that's related to being in the urban corridor with commercial space. We are just talking about this west side section. Here's how I interpret this data. The desirability for Cherry Hills Village all comes down to cachet, uniqueness. Cherry Hills Village is the only one that has the gated golf communities. There are not gated golf communities in Greenwood Village. They're accessible to everyone. They're not closed off based on address. But there's a uniqueness to this community. There's a uniqueness to saying you live in Cherry Hills Village. The land is unique, the fact that there's no commercial space, the maturity of the trees. There's something special about a place that was specifically planned to be untouched by commercial space, left to mature, given lots of space between neighbors with a median size of 1 acre per lot. You can go 5, you can go 10. It's a place that's comfortable for the headline makers. It's known that Shanahan has a house there, Peyton Manning has a house there. But it's not just the folks in the headlines. Open up your fridge and look at a dairy brand in there or a non-dairy brand. CEO of, probably pick 1 or 2 of those names, lives in Cherry Hills Village. PE firm founder, several of those live in Cherry Hills Village. Top attorneys, marketing firm builders, founders live in Cherry Hills Village. Some of the most interesting and diverse people call Cherry Hills Village home. And that is such a big part of the draw. It's intelligent people who are entrepreneurs, familiar with acquisitions, exits, negotiations, tough cases, and the like-minded. There's a if you know nod between people when you say you live in Cherry Hills Village. And it's not quite the same for Greenwood Village. There's nothing that I would ever take away from the Greenwood Village, its address, its homes, its land. It's beautiful. It's that there's something extra to Cherry Hills Village. And that is where that extra price, value, ROI, cachet, all comes to land on Cherry Hills Village, the address, the homes, the community. All right, if you want to stick around, I want to talk a little bit about the east side of Greenwood Village because there is an entire group of people who want to live in Greenwood Village and are never going to touch the $2.4, $2.6, $2.8 million price point of Greenwood Village on the west side. Greenwood Village is incredibly popular and even has a higher rate pace of home sales when we get into the east side. And it's because primarily, at least in my opinion, of the link, the draw, the boundary lines to schools. Greenwood Village on that east side 100% aligns to the Cherry Creek High School feeder zone, feeder boundaries. And people love Cherry Creek High School. It's funny because if you look in all of the data, you go to greatschools.org, schooldigger.com, Cherry Creek High School does not currently rate a 10. They have at different times. They're a little lower right now, but it does not matter. It has not lost its cachet. People love it. And I will say for fair reason, strong athletics. They have a pool. So if you have a swimmer, it is a school that has a pool. They can take your swimmer. And from talking with other colleagues of mine, people who live in that area, a strong theater program. So a couple different programs that really rank very strongly. It's not all about the academic piece, but some other extracurricular strengths as well. When we get to this east side for Greenwood Village and look just at single family homes, median price drops to $1.4 million. So there is a drastic price differential between the two sides. For folks who are coming into our Denver market, are used to maybe a higher end home, aren't necessarily expecting to send their kid to private school, or maybe want to be able to afford private school and a luxury home, or want a top school, but want to be closer to downtown, all sorts of different scenarios of mix and match. This becomes a good spot because you get beautiful quality home, you have access to Cherry Creek High School, you're already at the tech center or 30 minutes closer into downtown from being somewhere like Parker or Highlands Ranch, certainly much closer in than Castle Rock. And so homes over here sell at a faster pace than they do when we compare to Greenwood Village on the west side. And that probably has to do with the fact that if you're looking at Greenwood Village on the west side, you could probably afford a Cherry Hills Village house. So you're debating between location, address, selection. There's often no debate between someone from the east side to the west side. The price differential is massive. Homes on the east side, they run on average 1,000 square feet smaller than Greenwood Village homes on the west side. These homes over here that are closer to Cherry Creek Reservoir are often lined up under the takeoff and landing pattern for Centennial Airport, which is the second busiest private airport in the United States. So there is a constant run of airplane noise over these homes, and they're very close to it. So the planes are getting lower to the ground, they're quite loud. You have to be okay with that noise. So when you're outside grilling, having summer evenings, mornings, if you don't have upgraded windows in the house already, you would want to put that money in. If the house is sound tight and you don't hear a lot of it, you will still hear it outside. Again, it doesn't deter buyers. This area is really desirable. Now, we didn't touch on schools much on the other side because I just wanted to get into a lot of the other lifestyle factors over there. When you're looking on the west side, almost all of Greenwood Village on the west side feeds into Cherry Creek High School feeder district and boundaries, but not all of it. So you do have to look very carefully if that public school boundary line piece is important to you. All of Cherry Hills Village does, so that's a pretty safe bet. Many of the folks on the west side are leveraging private school options. There is St. Mary's, there is Kent Denver, there is a part of Cherry Hills that feeds into this really popular K-8 school that is public called Slavens. People really love that area. My kids go to a private school in Highlands Ranch where a lot of the kids are up from the Cherry Hills Village, Greenwood Village area. So they will commute down into Highlands Ranch. You're going generally against traffic, so not a bad commute. So public and private are both strong and popular options. All right, let's wrap up. I have been in exquisite and unique properties in Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village. There's one that's nicknamed the Castle, and it is a virtual replica of castles out of Europe. 4 years to design, 10 years to build, everything imported from overseas, a stunning masterpiece that would take weeks in the home to really digest and take in. I have toured homes with clients of mine who want to purchase properties and seen it through their eyes. And I'll tell you, it is somewhat to do with the home, much more about the bones of the property, unless the plan is to scrape, and in which case it's all about the land. But so often it is about the location, the land, and the thing that sparks the heart. Because much of this area, with the age of it, unless the home is newer, the person's coming in to customize. You are probably going to come in and customize this home. These are places where people have the creativity, they have the money, they have the teams, the bandwidth, the desire to create the environment and the personalization. And so it's about what of this home, this location, this structure, this lot just made me feel like this is the one. And then you work around that to maintain the spark and customize everything else. Along the way, you want to make sure you're adding value. These are conversations I've had with my clients. We've walked into homes, they love the home, they love the structure. It was maybe too ornate, realizing someone loves ornate. If I take all of that away, I've spent a lot of money for myself, probably added no value to the house. This isn't the one, because someone will come in and buy this as is and probably get to spend $250 and make it beautiful. I would spend $800 to $1 million. This isn't the one for me. So there's got to be some rational thought process along the way too. But it is so much about, I'm going to tweak this, I'm going to personalize that, but I love this and I can't stop thinking about this house, this land, this tree, that garden, that barn, whatever it is. That is really the essence of what makes someone pick a piece of property in Greenwood Village or Cherry Hills Village. If one of these locations feels right to you or you want to chat more about which one might be right for you, please reach out. It would be my delight to connect. And I will see y'all next week.